Many learners say, English is too fast. They hear words, but they do not understand. That's why today's video is slow English listening. Clear words, short sentences, step by step. And the story? Gautama Buddha, the prince who found enlightenment. A young prince who left his palace, searched for truth, and shared a path of peace, followed by millions today. Subscribe now, and let's begin the inspiring story of Gautama Buddha. Long ago, in ancient India, a special baby was born. His name was Siddhartha Gautama. People called him the future Buddha, but he did not know this yet. Siddhartha was born in a beautiful place called Lumbini. His father was King Suddhodana. His mother was Queen Maya. They ruled a rich kingdom. Everyone was happy about the new prince. When Siddhartha was born, wise men came to see him. They looked at the baby carefully. Then they said something amazing. "This child will be very special," they said. "He will become a great king, or he will become a great teacher. He will help many people." The king was happy, but he was also worried. He wanted his son to be a king, not a teacher. So he made a plan. "I will give my son everything," the king said. "He will have the best life. Then he will want to stay and rule the kingdom." The king built 3 beautiful palaces, one for hot weather, one for cold weather, one for rainy weather. Each palace was perfect. Siddhartha grew up in these palaces. He had the best food. He wore the finest clothes. He learned music and art. He studied with the best teachers. The prince was very smart. He was also kind and strong. Everyone loved him, but he lived inside the palace walls. He never saw the world outside. His father made sure of this. The king told his servants, "Never let the prince see old people. Never let him see sick people. Never let him see dead people. He must only see happy, healthy, young people." Years passed. Siddhartha became a handsome young man. He married a beautiful princess named Yashodhara. They had a son named Rahula. Life in the palace was perfect, but Siddhartha felt something was missing. He looked at the palace walls every day. He wondered about the world outside. What is beyond these walls? He asked himself. What is life really like? He did not know that soon everything would change. One day, Siddhartha made a decision. He was 29 years old. He wanted to see the world outside the palace. "I want to visit the city," he told his chariot driver, Chana, "but do not tell my father." Chana was worried, but he loved the prince, so he prepared the chariot. They left the palace quietly. As they rode through the city, Siddhartha saw something he had never seen before. An old man was walking slowly on the road. His back was bent, his hair was white, his skin had many lines. "Chana, what is wrong with that man?" Siddhartha asked. "Nothing is wrong, my prince," Chana said sadly. "He is old. All people become old if they live long enough." Siddhartha was shocked. "Will I become old too?" "Yes, my prince. Everyone becomes old." This was the first sight. Siddhartha felt confused and sad. A few days later, they went out again. This time, Siddhartha saw a sick man lying on the ground. The man was very thin. He could not move. He was in pain. "What happened to him?" Siddhartha asked. "He is sick," Chena explained. "Sometimes people become sick. Their bodies stop working well. Will this happen to me too?" "It can happen to anyone, my prince." This was the second sight. Siddhartha felt more worried. On the third trip, they saw something even more shocking. People were carrying a dead body. They were crying. The body did not move at all. "What is this?" Siddhartha whispered. "This is death,"
Siddhartha said quietly. When people become very old or very sick, they die. The body stops working forever. Will I die too? Yes, my prince. Everyone dies someday. This was the third sight. Siddhartha felt very afraid, but on the fourth trip, something different happened. They saw a man in simple orange clothes. He was walking calmly. His face was peaceful. He looked happy, even though he had nothing. Who is that man? Siddhartha asked. He is a monk, Channa said. He left his home to search for truth. He wants to understand life and find peace. This was the fourth sight. For the first time, Siddhartha felt hope. Maybe, he thought, there's a way to understand suffering. Maybe there's a path to real peace. That night, Siddhartha could not sleep. He thought about old age, sickness, death, and the peaceful monk. His comfortable life suddenly felt empty.
After seeing the 4 sights, Siddhartha changed completely. He could not enjoy palace life anymore. Food had no taste. Music sounded sad. Even playing with his baby son felt different. Every night, he thought about the same questions. Why do people suffer? Why do we grow old, get sick, and die? Is there a way to end this suffering? His wife Yashodhara noticed the change. What is wrong, my husband? She asked. You seem so far away. But Siddhartha could not explain his feelings. How could he tell her about his new understanding of life? One night, Siddhartha made the hardest decision of his life. He looked at his sleeping wife and baby son. He felt great love for them. But he also felt something stronger, the need to find truth. I must find answers, he whispered, not just for me, but for all people who suffer. Very quietly, he left his room. He went to Channa and woke him up. Prepare
my horse, Siddhartha said. We are leaving. Where are we going, my prince? Away from here. I must search for truth. Channa was shocked. But your family, your kingdom, your comfortable life. I will come back, Siddhartha said. But first, I must understand life and suffering. They rode through the dark night. At the edge of the kingdom, Siddhartha stopped. He took off his fine clothes. He cut his long, beautiful hair with his sword. He gave his jewelry to Channa. Take these back to my father, he said. Tell him I will return when I find what I am looking for. Please, my prince, Channa cried. Come back with me. Your family needs you. But Siddhartha was determined. Go back, my friend. I must do this alone. Channa returned to the palace with great sadness. The king was angry and worried. Yashodhara cried for many days, but Siddhartha was already gone. Now Siddhartha was not a prince anymore. He was just a man searching for truth. He put on simple clothes. He walked from village to village. He met other people who were also searching. They were called ascetics. They ate very little food. They slept on the ground. They believed suffering of the body would bring wisdom. Siddhartha joined them. For 6 years he lived this hard life. He became very thin. Sometimes he ate only 1 grain of rice per day. His body became weak, but his mind stayed strong. But after 6 years, he realized something important. Extreme suffering was not the answer either.
After 6 years of extreme practices, Siddhartha was very weak. One day, he almost died from hunger. A kind village girl named Sujata saw him by the river. Please, she said, take this bowl of rice and milk. You need food. Siddhartha looked at the food. His ascetic friends had taught him to refuse food. But suddenly, he understood something. Extreme luxury did not bring wisdom, he thought. And extreme suffering does not bring wisdom either. The answer must be in the middle. He took the food and ate it slowly. His strength returned. His mind became clearer. The other ascetics saw him eating. They were angry. "You're weak," they said. "You gave up." They left him alone. But Siddhartha felt peaceful for the first time in years. He had found the middle path. Not too comfortable, not too hard. He walked until he found a large tree by the river. It was a Bodhi tree. The leaves were green and beautiful. The shade was cool and peaceful. "I will sit here," Siddhartha decided. "I will meditate until I find the truth. I will not move until I understand life and suffering." He sat under the tree in the meditation position. He closed his eyes. He breathed slowly and deeply. As he meditated, many thoughts came to his mind. Memories of his palace life, worries about his family, fears about failure. But he let all these thoughts pass by like clouds in the sky. Suddenly, negative forces tried to stop him. In his mind, he saw Mara, the demon of temptation. Mara sent scary visions. He offered Siddhartha power and wealth. He tried to make him afraid. "Give up," Mara said. "You cannot find truth. Go back to your comfortable life." But Siddhartha stayed calm. "I will not move," he said. "I will not give up." All night he meditated. As the sun began to rise, something amazing happened. All his questions suddenly had answers. He understood why people suffer. He understood how suffering ends. He understood the path to peace. At that moment, Siddhartha became the Buddha. Buddha means the awakened one or the enlightened one. He had discovered the 4 noble truths. First, life has suffering. Second, suffering comes from wanting things. Third, suffering can end. Fourth, there is a path to end suffering. He also understood the Noble Eightfold Path, 8 steps to end suffering and find peace. The Buddha sat under the tree for many days. He felt incredible peace and joy. After 35 years of searching, he had found the truth. For 7 weeks, the Buddha stayed under the Bodhi tree. He enjoyed the peace of enlightenment, but then he thought about all the people in the world. So many people are suffering, he thought. They are lost. They are searching for happiness in the wrong places. Should I teach them what I learned? At first, he was not sure. The truth is difficult to understand. Will people listen? Will they believe? But then he thought about the suffering he had seen. Old age, sickness, death. People wanting things they could not have. People afraid and angry. I must try, he decided. If I can help even one person find peace, it is worth it. The Buddha remembered the 5 ascetics who had left him when he ate the rice. They were in Sarnath, a place with a beautiful deer park. He decided to find them first. He walked for many days to reach Sarnath. When the ascetics saw him coming, they were angry. "Look," one of them said. "Here comes Siddhartha, the one who gave up. Do not talk to him." But as the Buddha came closer, something strange happened. His face was so peaceful. His eyes were so kind. The ascetics felt different. "There is something special about him," they whispered. "He looks different." The Buddha sat down with them. He began to speak in a gentle voice. "My friends," he said, "I have found something wonderful. I have found the way to end suffering." Then he gave his first teaching. He explained the 4 noble truths. First, life has suffering. We get old, sick, and die. We lose things we love. This is natural. Second, suffering comes from craving. We want things. We want people. We want experiences. When we don't get what we want,
we suffer. Third, suffering can end. When we stop craving, when we accept life as it is, suffering ends. Fourth, there is a path to end suffering. It is called the Noble Eightfold Path. The ascetics listened carefully. Slowly, they began to understand. This makes sense, they said. We have been looking for truth in the wrong way. One by one, they accepted the Buddha's teaching. They became his first disciples. The Buddha also taught them about the middle path. Do not live in luxury, he said, but do not torture your body either. Find balance. This is the way to wisdom. Word spread quickly. People came from nearby villages to hear the Buddha speak. They saw his peaceful face. They heard his kind words. Many decided to follow his teaching. Some people became monks and nuns. They wore simple orange robes. They lived without many possessions. They spent their time meditating and helping others. Other people stayed in their normal lives, but they followed the Buddha's advice. They tried to be kind, honest, and peaceful.
For 45 years after his enlightenment, the Buddha traveled across India. He walked from village to village, city to city. Everywhere he went, he shared his teaching with patience and love. Rich people and poor people came to hear him. Kings and servants sat together to listen. Young and old, men and women, all were welcome. The Buddha's message was always the same. Suffering can end. There's a path to peace. Anyone can walk this path. He taught people to be kind to all living beings. Do not hurt others, he said. Help when you can. Speak truthfully. Work honestly. He taught them to meditate. Sit quietly every day. Watch your breathing. Observe your thoughts. This will bring peace to your mind. He taught them to let go of anger and jealousy. These emotions are like holding fire in your hands. They hurt you more than anyone else. As the years passed, more and more people followed the Buddha's teaching. They formed a community called the Sangha. Monks and nuns devoted their lives to the teaching. Regular people practiced the Buddha's advice in their daily lives. The Buddha treated everyone equally. In those days, Indian society had a caste system. Some people were considered high, others low. But the Buddha said, all people are equal. Anyone can find enlightenment. He even taught women to be nuns. This was unusual at that time, but the Buddha believed women could also achieve wisdom and peace. One day, the Buddha returned to his home kingdom. His father, the old king, was waiting. His wife Yashodhara was there. His son Rahula was now a young man. They were happy to see him, but they were also sad. He was no longer the prince they remembered. He wore simple robes. His head was shaved, but his face showed incredible peace. I am sorry I left you, the Buddha told his family, but I had to find truth. Now I can share it with you too. Even his family became his followers. His son Rahula became a monk. When the Buddha was 80 years old, he knew his time was ending. He gathered his disciples around him. Remember, he said with his last breath, all things pass away. Work hard for your salvation. After the Buddha died, his teaching spread beyond India. It went to Sri Lanka, China, Japan, Thailand, and many other countries. Today, millions of people around the world follow Buddhism. They meditate in temples and at home. They try to live with kindness and wisdom. They follow the middle path that the Buddha discovered under the Bodhi tree. The prince who left his palace 2,500 years ago created one of the world's great religions.
His message of peace and compassion continues to help people find happiness and end suffering.